I have to order some sneakers from that motherfucker.
We're live.
Well, I think what has upset me the most is not just Donald Trump. Trump is a pathological liar and a demagogue, and I got that. But what upsets me the most is that some 73 million Americans supported him, and that he did better in many depressed areas of the country than he did in 2016. Now, how did that happen? Why do people continue to support somebody who is a liar, who gives their benefits, makes policy to benefit the rich and the powerful at the expense of working people? How does that happen? How do we restore faith in government so that people understand that the United States government is going to be working for them? How do we bring a nation together, which Trump has done his best to divide us?
White people don't produce enough children. If you look at the demographics, they have abortion and the blacks. You expect when you didn't have jobs, you were on welfare.
They still had better lives here than they did back in Africa. Their descendants, the descendants of those slaves, have much better lives here than the descendants of people who would have never gotten on those slave boats in Africa. And that's a provable fact, you know, because we have given them all those freedoms.
It would solve the whole thing in the border if they would just start shooting. Only shoot a couple.
Hey, ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit.
See, I'm not worried about Uncle Tom. My problem is Sambo. See, Uncle Tom was a hero. Uncle Tom was the one in the big house that would go down and tell the folk in the field what was going on. Sambo is the African that's in the field that's going up and telling Massa what the Africans are doing in the field. I ain't worried about Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom is my hero. It's Sambo, the one that's amongst us, that I'm looking at.
You let me find me a good black man, I'll be damned if I let him go anywhere. I always said I'd never fight over a man, but you let me have a good black man, the bitch can't say shit to me because she will get her ass kicked. I don't play.
Hello, hi, hey everyone, how's everybody doing?
Yay!
Tanya, how are you doing, Tanya?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Preach.
Hey, what's up?
All right. It's Stephen E. Kimbrough. What's going on, brother? All the way out in LA. Can you hear us? I guess not. This is Kevin Lee. What's going on?
Hey, I'm here. What's up, everybody?
Kevin, you're the magician, but Steve keeps disappearing. I don't know.
My name disappeared. That's sure.
He's doing it.
Desi Walker, what's going on, brother?
I love that opening music. I haven't said that before. Carl, did you pick that yourself?
I picked that myself.
I'm surprised you. Oh, Lord. What's up?
You thought I was going to pick how you're feeling. Hot, hot, hot. How you feeling? All right.
Got the line going.
Well, welcome everyone to the 5 Black Comics. We're here for you every week, Saturdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. 5 p.m. East Coast, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. We want to thank everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate you joining us every Saturday to spend some time with us. Like I mentioned in my promo, if you didn't see it, please feel free. If you're watching the show and you're really bothered by something we say, or we feel you have something to say or something to add, just shoot me a message on my Facebook Messenger or my WhatsApp, and I'll send you the link. You can jump on. And if it's too many people, we'll give everyone like 5 minutes to just jump on and share their views. So with that out of the way, today we're gonna touch a little bit on the insurrection. I think we touched on it a couple of times in the past. We're gonna do that again today. We're also gonna talk about the inauguration, which was historic, first Black vice president that America has ever had. What I noticed during the inauguration and after the insurrection, everyone is talking about unity. We all have to come together. Some politicians, not only politicians, but a lot of commentators are saying that this is not who we are. I mean, people consistently are showing us this is who we are, but people are still saying this is not who we are. I'm not sure which side to take. Are we split down the middle? Are we in the majority? Are the decent people in the majority, or the people that caused the insurrection or started the insurrection, are they the majority? Is that who we are, or who we are, the people like us and the people that follow us? So Tanya, I'm going to go to you first. What are your thoughts on the inauguration, the insurrection? Is this who we are? Are the people we saw the insurrection who we are? Is that America? And do we need to fix that? Or is that not who we are? And seeing that we are the majority, we can pretty much crush them and put them out of get them out of the way. What are your thoughts?
Well, first, who we are. I think that the map for election showed who most people were. But I'm hopeful that there are enough of us, Black, white, Chinese, all the above, to band together and become the majority. And we see that with Biden and Kamala, with that dual team in itself says that even if it's by 3 people that we won, we did win. You know what I'm saying? So that says a lot. And then, as you can see, Biden, he made a very diverse cast, which we've never seen that in the White House ever. So that to me tells me there's this hope. And while I know Americans' history of who we are was the slavery, was the hanging, was the stealing, was the robbing, the lying. Yes, that was the history. But I think as we move forward, and we raise our grandchildren and our children to think a little bit smarter than that century ago, then I think we'll be there. And then as far as the inauguration, well, you know what I'm going to talk about. First of all, let me tell you, those ladies, both of them, Kamala and Mrs. Biden, they look stunning. Michelle Obama, stunning. They had stunning colors on. I thought that was just one little piece that was great, but to see all that beautiful beauty at one shot was like, whoa. And I like the diversity of if you looked around and saw the people that were there, that was amazing. That's the sign that, you know what, we are, we have a lot of work to do. But to me, just looking at that cast of who was at the inauguration, I know it was a select few, but just looking at that diversity, you had Lady Gaga, and then you had Jennifer Lopez, and then you had the young lady who Gorman, Amanda Gorman, the 22-year-old poet who's amazing. I mean, her poetry was called for unity and togetherness. I think it was called the Hill We Climb. Yeah, that's it. But she's the youngest poet, 19 years old, and the youngest at the inaugural. So she made history. It's just amazing. I thought it was awesome, and it was very hopeful. What I thought.
Yeah, I'm sure. I didn't watch Fox News, but I'm sure after they saw that girl, they thought she was inciting violence. I'm sure they will find some way to spin that poetry. The decision was inciting violence, but I'm gonna go to you, Gerald. I mean, as far as the insurrection and the Proud Boys and that whole group, and saying they want to take back America, they want to make America great again, all that kind of stuff. When people say take back America, make America great again, what do they want to go back to black white water fountains? They want to go back to black white bathrooms, us coming through the back door of the restaurants. I mean, us not being able. I didn't know that black people could not try on clothes when they go shopping back in the days. They couldn't put on a hat. If you were buying a hat, you couldn't try on the shirt. You couldn't try on jeans. Mm-hmm. If you were walking down the sidewalk and there was a white person coming, you had to step off the sidewalk. I saw a black dude said he had to step in mud. He had to step into mud. so that white people can go by. So my question to you is, what do they mean? These they're taking back their country. What does taking back their country mean?
Taking back means you lost, you're upset you lost, and you don't know how to deal with it because your leader was lying to you the whole time, even before the election. He knew what was going to happen. He knew he was doing a bad job. And that's why he started setting that up months before the election, saying if the only way we can lose is if they cheat. He started saying that in 2019. He goes, oh, in this election, the only way I can lose is if they cheat. And he ramped them up to think that. Now, for everyone to say, oh, this is not who we really are. This is not who we are. This is, you know what? It kind of is who we are because the Civil War started because Lincoln won, and the South didn't want Lincoln to be president. So they had a little insurrection, and they seceded from the Union. See, that's what happened. A bunch of states said, no, he's not going to be our president. We didn't want him. We're not part of you anymore. That was one of the first times. It happened again in 1877 after slavery was abolished and there was an election, and they're like, no, we don't like this. We're going to overturn the government unless you get all these troops out of the South. And they made an agreement, and it was a compromise. All right, you stay with the Union. We're not going to have another civil war, but we'll take the troops out the South, and you can do what you want. And that's when Jim Crow started. So for them to keep saying this isn't who we are, history says this is exactly who we are. It hasn't changed.
So are there in the majority? If this is who we are, then we are in the minority. The people like us are in the minority, and the insurrectionists are in the majority. If this is who we are, I think that's America.
Yeah, but see, people that keep saying that can't do math because 85 million is more than 71 million. So, Trump keeps talking about, I got the most votes. I got more votes than I did last time. Yeah, you did. But guess what? The other guy got more. So you lose.
All right. Mr. Steve E. Kimbrough out in LA, brother, the pod brother. How are you doing?
How are you? I'm doing well.
Good. So when people are saying they want to take back their country, they want to make America great again. What do they mean? Do they want to go back, like I said to Gerald, to the black-white fountain? And when I say stuff like this, I see Tanya's grandma,
Norma
is watching, and I just like, what was it like for them? You know what I mean? Like, we are like living this kind of happy life because of people like her that went through. Imagine what it was like for her and her family back in the day. I mean, the stuff we are dealing with now pales in comparison to the kind of stuff they have to deal with. You know what I mean? And we're still complaining and fighting. You know what I mean? So we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. But my question to you is, what are these insurrectionists? What do they want? What more do they want?
That's a great question, Carl. We have to remember that America is divided into three classes, even amongst the whites. There's the super wealthy, super rich. There's the middle class, and then there's the dirt poor white people. Each of those classes have a different definition of what they lose. And what's happening is our modern democracy is dismantling white privilege. It's redistributing wealth. It's organizing and educating people of color. So what that represents to poor white people is, wait a minute, we're going to lose our advantage over black people if they're educated. If poor black people are trying to get educated, we're going to lose our Jim Crow white opportunities. So they're fighting on that tip. The Midwest, the middle class, what their definition of loss is the educated African Americans and people of color who come out of colleges and are competing for those 6-digit jobs that they used to get automatically. And they still do get automatically, but more and more people of color are starting to tap into some of those markets. And here's the thing, once they get in, their performance blows everyone away because they have to be 10 times better than the white people that are in there. So when they finally do get in, once they're educated and they're qualified and they have all the professional bells and whistles, what they do is they up the bar in that game. Take Tiger Woods, for example. You know, when he got in the game, now golfers got to be in shape. They got to bench 400. They got to do cardio. It never used to be that way. It was just old fat white guys that drink and smoke. Tiger came in, smoked them all. Now the new guys coming in, that the white guys are like, we got to up the ante. And the super, super rich at the top, what they lose is the opportunity to exploit Black people at will the way they want, because they have money and power and they're connected in politics. But what we're finding with the whole Trump meltdown is even that is being dismantled. And a lot of the rich, wealthy people who used to at will be able to exploit people of color, women, kids, the planet, the oceans, the air, new democracy is dismantling all of that. So they feel that they're losing the opportunity to exploit. So there's several classes of exploitation as I see it.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, like all Black people are saying we want equality, right? We're just fighting for equality. We're not saying we want what white people have. We're not saying give us what you have. We're just saying let's level the playing field. And if they're fighting us on that. You know what I mean? Wouldn't it be easier if they just said, okay, if they just level the playing field, we'll be happy, they will be happy, there will be no fighting, but it seems like they want it all. I get the feeling sometimes that the Trumpsters, which I agreed to say, instead of saying white people, because we all have white friends that we love and we get along with fine, and you know what I mean? So I'm trying not to say white people and paint everyone with a broad brush, even though Gina said she's okay with it. She knows we're not talking about her, you know. But
Gina's white?
Italian.
Italiano.
She's Italian.
Gina, the name Gina. You know a Gina from Ireland?
That's a,
She's Italian. She's part Black, part Italian.
So, you know, it'd be so much easier if they just say, okay, the Blacks are the Browns are, you know, these people that just want equality. Let's just give them equality. Everything will be fine. You know, they'll get what's theirs and we get what's ours. They wouldn't get what's ours and we wouldn't get what's theirs. It just make it level, and that would be so much easier to me. So, Kevin, what do they want? And when these insurrectionists say they're taking back the country, what does that mean to you? And also your thoughts on the inauguration, and you know.
Well, they want they want this show to be called 5BlackComics from the cotton field. So
they want us to be picking cotton as we're doing the show.
You know,
that's not true. Tobacco too.
They want to call us the 5BlackComics.
Well, I think what they're really afraid of is, in my opinion, Joe Biden. Just think about this: we almost had a civil war for a white president. And the reason is Joe Biden, in a way, is the white Barack Obama. Which, what I mean by that is, Barack Obama couldn't do a lot of things he wanted to do because he was Black. Now, Joe Biden, being a white man, will be able to do the things that Barack Obama couldn't do, like have the most diverse cabinet in American history, have a Black man in charge of the military, a Black vice president. Obama couldn't run with a Black vice president, or not even a white woman vice president. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Biden's doing all the stuff that Barack Obama couldn't do because of his skin color. And that's what they're afraid of. You know, in my opinion, they are going nuts over this white man becoming president because he is the white Barack Obama. And he's going to do all the things that Barack Obama couldn't do. And he's already doing them, you know. And as far as the inauguration, it was a beautiful sight. It was a beautiful thing. As a grown-ass man, 200 and some pounds, I cried, you know, when I saw the vice president become the first female vice president, you know. And it wasn't even about the skin color, it was just a woman, period, becoming vice president, you know. That's just, was very touching, you know, and amazing. Yeah. And Garth Brooks, arguably the biggest country star in the world, went out of his way to give dap to Barack Obama. Yeah. And I say that to make this point. Garth Brooks is a country star. He came out with a big belt buckle and a cowboy hat. And he was like a little kid in the candy store going over to give Barack Obama some dap. So there are more people that don't want to live in Trump's America. You know, we have the numbers. You know, there's more white people that don't want to raise their kids in Trump's America. You know, they don't want it. They don't want the division. They want their white friends to play with black kids and vice versa. You know, they just, it's not, I think they're outnumbered. And that's why what you saw in the National Mall on January 6th, you know, that was just half of them. There's millions more of them, obviously, but I think we have the numbers. They're outnumbered. There's more people that want, you know, this administration, more people that want just us to be normal, you know, and live all under, you know, under one sun and just be regular people, you know.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to lose. They lost the first Civil War, and if they started another one, they're going to lose that one too. So it is what it is, man. But yeah, it was a beautiful day, man, for this country to see, you know, what went down, and the new president and the new vice president, and the ceremony was unbelievable. Oh, real quickly, and just think, if there wasn't COVID and wasn't the threat of violence, how many people would have been on that national?
Yeah, because there was 84 million that voted for him, so you can imagine.
There would have been so many people. That probably would have been one of the biggest inaugurations ever. And, you know, crowd-wise, and plus people would have came from all over to see Kamala Harris become vice president. That's history.
Yeah.
History.
Very much so, yeah.
I mean, I mean, as a kid, you could never tell me there was gonna be a black president in this country. I would have laughed. Like, what? Black president? Ain't gonna happen. A female vice president, black or white? Please, that ain't gonna ever happen. So we've lived to see history, folks, and we won't be here 200 years from now, but we live to see some serious history happen in our lifetime.
Yeah. I know on the show sometimes we talk like black people are not making any progress, but if you really sat back and look, there's lots of progress being made. I mean, there's a lot more progress that needs to be made and that should be made. But I mean, there's we made a lot of progress. Just so you folks know, I put the link to jump on the StreamYard with us in the chat. So if you want to click on that and jump on the show, I think it'll work like that, right, Tanya? If I put it in the comments, they can just click on that if you want. If you have something to say and you want to jump on, feel free. And Desi, I'm going to go to you. When these insurrectionists want to take the country back and they want to make America great, when they're saying, what do they want? I mean, what more do they want? I don't understand how people can be white in America and not be successful. If I was white, you think I'd be sitting in this house? Seriously, how can you be white and be poor, or be white and not have a job, or be, you know what I mean? Your whiteness is your resume. Freaking use it.
It's not that simple, clearly.
Exactly. I mean, we're talking about from the 1400s, basically a system put in place by most of the European countries, directed by the Catholic Church, of guarantees, goodies, and giveaways for anyone that was Christian. Now, we know that they only considered themselves, or people, Christian if they politically were white. And that even excluded Irish and Italian. They weren't considered white either. So what we're seeing now is a peak, a crescendo, and there is evidence that is irrefutable. When Barack Obama won the presidency, their image of who they were in relation to who we are was shattered, because now they can never claim the dominant position as a guarantee. And we saw a president in Barack Obama who was articulate, charismatic, funny. He had a lot of qualities that made them sit up and take notice. Marry that with the understanding that United States, what gave the dominant people their status in life was that they were the majority. And as the majority, they get to rule the government. They get to make all the decisions. They get to decide what happens economically. They know that they are not the majority in 2040. There's already the Latinos are coming up and all these other groups. So them understanding that they won't be the majority in 2040 and seeing that no matter what you do to black people, they always are smiling. They're always going to find a way to be successful. It's scary to them because they know that they won't have the majority, and they have this group of people that we've enslaved them, we've mentally abused them, we physically abused them, we kill them without retribution, and they're still here, and they're not banging their heads in the wall crying. You have those people, along with them losing the majority, they figure that they need to implement an apartheid state right now. If they don't get rid of the majority rule right now, then when they really are the numerical minority, they will have no say and no talk in government. So, and we also know that on a more a broader stage, it's broader spectrum. We are in a new age now. We are in an age where information is available to everyone. And having information available to everyone, all the lies that they use to subjugate everyone else are exposed and easily refutable. So it used to be we have the moral ground. We are the religious ones, and we're destined to rule. So we've seen that the Christians compromised themselves big time under Trump, where they bowed and been. This guy has paid for abortions. He's paid for strippers. He's done everything immoral you could name, and the evangelicals still support him. So the Christianity thing is out of the way. The majority, we're the majority, and we should rule. They know that that's going away. Everything that you could think of that they've used, even we're more educated, and you're not more educated. We all have an opportunity for education now. We're physically stronger. They used to say that black people couldn't rule because they're physically weaker. And then in the 40s and 50s, when sports started opening up and we got a chance to compete on a level playing field, we showed that we can dominate in physical sports. They had golf. That was their last bastion. Golf is a mental sport, and it takes intelligence, and you have to think ahead. And it's like chess. And then you had Tiger Woods come along. Whoever said that was dead on. Tiger Woods smashed that away. So what we're seeing, just to make it short, I know I've been talking, but
no, that's fine.
Their fragile ego is being exposed, and they can't take it, and so they have no other thing. When you're in an argument with someone, even as a comedian, you can cut on them, cut on their clothes, cut on their mama, cut on the car they drive. But if they keep coming back and zinging you, sooner or later you're gonna put these up. It gets that tight. This is what they're doing. We've come back on every argument they have. So now violence is the only thing they have left. White supremacy works on two things: deception and violence. So when we say we're going to educate our kids in school and teach them about slavery, the real reason, deception is gone. So now they got to turn violent. When you say we're going to let black people understand that they fought in World War II and we had a GI Bill that allowed white people to get homes at no cost, a very low interest rate, and black people didn't even qualify for those loans. That deception is gone. All deception that they've tried to put on us is easily blown away because of the internet and information, cell phones, everything's available. We are able to blow it away. So now violence is the only thing they have left.
Can I say something real quickly?
But you also have to
piggyback real quickly on Desi real quickly. And I wanted to say this, give a major thank you and shout out to the great Hank Aaron, who just passed away. What Desi said made me think about Hank Aaron, because Hank Aaron, who broke Babe Ruth's record, received thousands and hundreds of death threats as he was getting closer and closer.
He had his book of world records for most hate mail. He had over 1 million pieces of hate mail. And still broke the record.
Still broke the record. No fear.
Right.
So shout out to the great Hank Aaron. And one more thing, what Desi said made me think about when Dylann Roof killed those 9 black people in the church. The next day they were on the news saying they forgive Dylann Roof and they're praying for him. And that's how black people are. White America is still pissed. I just want to get that out.
Right.
Yeah.
Still pissed.
Well, we also have to remember, I've been on this planet like 6 decades, and I've always had an argument about, why don't we have more Black people here, more Black representation there, more, I've always had that debate with a lot of my white friends, why we can't have, more representation. And what I get, and this is across the board, 100% with every single one of those debates, they're like, yeah, Kimbro, but if we let one in, where does it end? Which tells me that they have already done the math that if you let one in and they outperform everyone else, which opens up Pandora's box to let more in, and then more and more, at some point the scales are going to tip. And they already knew that way back when. So the strategies of oppression, apartheid, and to separate has already gone into their futuristic strategy for what they know what's going to happen if you let one in. So it's like, whatever you do, their strategy is, whatever you do, don't even let one in, because if you let one in, where does it end? And that's where we are today.
Which means they're like constantly thinking of ways to keep us down. I mean, this must keep them up at night.
It does. That's correct.
There was the WikiLeaks that came out. Part of the leaks that came out, there was a movie exec who had her emails hacked, and she was specifically trying to undermine Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was under her company, and the reason why is she was afraid that he would be asking for too much money. But she acknowledged all the hustle he was doing and all the money he's bringing in. She just didn't want someone Black to have that much power. And we always used to think we're paranoid to believe that they sit around planning on how we can fail, but it really is true.
It absolutely is.
That's where art imitates life.
Preach, hold on. Tanya messaged me. She wanted to talk, so just let her go, and then you can go.
Well, to piggyback off that, I had a professor once at a community college tell me that even though the paper was an A+ paper, she's only going to give me an A because she didn't want me to think that I was that great. That's her exact words. We were like, what? Does that make sense? So, of course, I fought for my grade, but that's not what I wanted to interrupt about. I wanted to go back to the video and the gentleman with the Proud Boys hats on, and how, I don't know if you heard them talking about, Black people have abortion, and it seems like white women are having abortions, and that's why, all that stuff, it sounds like conspiracy theory stuff. But if you go back to just even Planned Parenthood, started by the lady Margaret Sanger, I can't say her name correctly. But even that the fact that she was into eugenics, then you start seeing where it filtered down into that little countryman who could barely speak any English or any language. If you saw him, if you heard his dialect, he sounds like he rolled out of somebody's backwood somewhere. I'm just saying. And which is fine. I mean, because I have a lot of backwood family, that's no problem. But if you listen to him speak, you're like, where did he come up with this? But he really thought that, well, we need to have more white babies. And that's where that theory of like, oh, there's not enough of us, a minority and all that stuff comes in. It sounds crazy, but if you take just that clip of that video and think about it, it's absolute. Well, it is true. I mean, I think America already is. If you added every minority, I do think that we all rule because there's got to be more at this point. If you add Latino, you add other, come on, really? So that's true. But what he was talking about is basically what a Proud Boy theory is. Get rid of all those Black folk because there's too many and we're becoming extinct. And I just want people to know that there's enough in this world for all of us, like literally. Like you can have anything you want. No, he doesn't want it. I don't want it. And nobody else wants it. We want what's ours. Like Carl said, we just want what we need for ourselves to live and survive and be happy and thrive. That's it. We don't want anything special. So if you're a Proud Boy listening, just know that there's enough for all of us.
Now, Preacher, I'm going to go to you next, but I also want you to, in the video, one of the white guys in the Trump hat was saying that Black people should be thankful to white people for slavery because they brought us to a better life.
Ooh.
And so all you black people out there watching, when you go to work tomorrow, you know, just make sure you text your white friends and tell them thank you so much for bringing me to the land of the free and the home of the brave. Go ahead, Priest. What were you going to say?
You should thank them for bringing you into slavery and whipping you and beating you and raping your women. And, well, actually, not even raping your women, raping you, because we know it didn't just stop there.
Because you know, Africa, there's some people. I can't wait to go to America to pick some cotton. I want to go pick some cotton.
Right.
Yeah. There's a video that was posted on our timeline, you know, about the African who was saying that, see, it's not even physical slavery now, it's that mental slavery where you've convinced people that you don't have it unless you get it from us. You got to get it from us, you know, and they've gone in and they basically raped the African nation when you have Germany with De Beers company owning diamond mines in Africa. Like, wait a minute, that's not your land. How do you get to own the diamond mines that are in their country? See, so they do things like that.
Yeah, I want to thank them for labeling us the derogatory term of the N-word.
Yeah, that too.
Awesome. Yeah.
But they continue that, you know, when you talk about what Desi was talking about, where they continue to thrive and no matter what they do. I mean, Hank Aaron was in the Negro Leagues before, you know, they broke the color barrier and allowed him to get in, and then he broke Babe Ruth's record. They hated that. They hated Tiger Woods. I think they still have curling. They're still in the top of curling. You can do that.
Not for long. Not for long.
You're starting a curling team. That was the stripes before. You're gonna start a curling team.
Remember the Jamaican bobsled?
Yeah, the Jamaican bobsled. We can do anything, and that's what it is. They realize they can do anything. I mean, we have in 2019 there were 15 black hockey players. There used to be one. Now there's 15. We're getting ready to take over hockey. See, it's only an economic thing that stops more of them from being in hockey right now because poor black families can't afford all the equipment you need for hockey. It's easy to go and buy one basketball and give it to your kids and let them do that. But once they start a foundation or something where you can give hockey equipment to poor black kids, look out.
I mean, I always wonder, what do like white Trumpsters that go on vacation in the Caribbean and the other countries that are run by black people? I mean, 100% black government and see a country. I mean,
why you go?
I mean,
I'll answer that question for you.
Yeah.
When white people go on vacation to beautiful islands, they're being served.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I always see that commercial, and it's a beautiful commercial. Oh, it's a Sandoz Resort.
Yeah.
And it always shows beautiful, just white people on vacation. Then at the end of the commercial, they show the one black guy walking.
Yeah.
And he has the plate in his hand.
Yeah.
Carrying the.
Oh, you don't know how that annoys the shit out of me.
You know, that's the
20 minutes,
walking
Carl.
with the plate,
Kyle.
carrying it over
Yeah.
to the Sandoz commercial. So they're being served, bro.
Yep.
I mean,
That's
that's
exactly
the
what
way
it
they look
is.
at it, man.
All over.
Yeah, but I mean, these countries are being run by black people. So if you're in America, you're thinking that black people are not smart enough to do this and do that, and then you go to countries, don't they think that we have black people running other entire countries? So of course they're not smart because they are running countries. So I mean, do they think differently?
Carl, do you think they're thinking on that level? Because the people who are going on vacation probably saved up everything they can to go to Jamaica, and they go there and they're just there seeing only people they really see are the people serving them, and they think that this is the way it's supposed to be. I don't give them credit enough to think that they're thinking deep, like, oh, this is a black-run country.
Racist white Americans don't have a hatred for just every black person. They hate African Americans more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's the African Americans, and that's because slavery happened on this soil here. You know, slavery happened in this country. So that's why it's that deep hatred for African Americans. So they can go to Barbados and be a little bit more relaxed around people of color there.
And let me jump on that, and I can honestly say that when I talk to white people in this country, and when they find out I'm from Barbados, their whole attitude changes towards me. I can physically see them relax.
Oh, you're not one of the bad.
I'm pretty much
No, you're one of the good ones.
To be a doctor. My niece is in her last year to be a doctor. She's doing a residency in Queens, New York. They were treating her terribly. They found out that my brother-in-law was from Africa and my dad is from Trinidad. Now they love her to death.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
I experienced that consistently, even to this day. You know what I mean?
But you know why? A lot of that fear comes from their own internal fear of what they think what we would do to them if we got power, money, and authority. So all Black people from other places, they can relax because they know that their ancestry did not abuse, kill, rape, and hang them.
Exactly.
They also know that the modern day Jim Crow systemic systems that are still in effect against African Americans, and that gives you a lot of anxiety when you come across another African American. So when they come across a non-African American, they can relax because all of those that anxiety of that reversed revenge possibility is all cooked up in there, and that's part of the issue. That's one of the reasons why they're so afraid of us, because you look at an African American, in the white person's head, they're like, is this the brother who's going to snap because of all the things we've done to them? And this is the day that he's going to snap and take it out on the first white person he sees, which happens to be me. And I guarantee you that has happened a lot. And it has happened a lot in the world that I grew up in and where I'm from. And that was a real thing. Brothers would just snap and just go and just wail on white dudes for no reason. People like, what, this dude came out of nowhere and just started blasting me. So you gotta, that's in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, because Tanya and I talked about this before when I first came to this country. I'm like, Jesus Christ, these Black people are pissed off. You know what I mean? Because I remember I got a job working for a temp agency, and I was moving furniture, some office furniture in an office, and we were taking this desk up a stairs, and it was pretty heavy, and it was me and this other dude, this other Black dude, and we were carrying it up, and we were struggling, and the white lady was behind. She was telling us, we got to go up one more flight. And she sarcastically said, "Hey guys, are you having fun yet?" You know what I mean? And the brother dropped the desk and said, "Oh, bitch, does this look like fun to you?" I was like, "Whoa, where did that come from?" I'll tell you what. 2 weeks after that, after living in America for a couple more weeks, I was like, "Bitch, does this look like fun?" I had the same attitude. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's weird because growing up in Barbados, and I tell you guys, you see white people coming towards you with smiles on their faces. White Americans that go to the islands, and I don't think any Black American on this panel has ever witnessed a white person coming towards you on the street with a big smile on their face, like they're happy to see you, or they're just smiling because. I guess because they're scared. I mean, they're outnumbered when you're in the Caribbean and you're on any island, you're outnumbered. So I know they're smiling for two reasons. One, they're outnumbered, and
I think that depends on the area, honestly.
On the area,
places where people smile and I could tell by their demeanor that they weren't like crossing over or holding.
Oh, in America?
Yeah, right here. Yeah, right here. I know this, and that's probably because a lot of people know me. Maybe. I'm going to leave that to doubt, but I know places I've walked down and said, "Hey, how are you? How are you?"
It's different, Tanya, when you're in Whole Foods.
Yeah.
I think they're smiling in Barbados because they expect you to bring them a frozen drink.
Yeah.
This is greens over
or a donkey ride, right, Carl?
Yeah, Darren would say an ox.
No, but I'm just saying, for argument's sake, that there's a couple of places, and I can't speak. I mean, I've taken a bus from California to New York, so I haven't taken a bus to Midwest. But in some, there are a couple of places where people are comfortable enough with themselves. Because remember, it really, like Stephen said, it really comes back to the finger always points back here. So if I'm uncomfortable with something, I'm highly probable that my experience probably had something to do with that. So if you're grabbing your pocketbook when you see a Black person comes by, or you see a Black person in a hoodie, you've been watching way too much news, or there's some experience that you heard about, or something you've been passed down. Because I know some people that I've seen like even when my new neighbor moved in, I went over there along and I was like, "Hey, what's up? Welcome." She was like, "Hey, oh my gosh, you got a dog too."
That's something we haven't addressed though. African American women probably get a little bit more pass than African American men too. You know,
big time. Yeah.
Good point, Kevin. Good point. Yeah. Sorry about that. You're absolutely.
If I walk towards somebody and I got my baseball cap on backwards, you know, they're gonna grab the purse. You know. So,
really? See, I don't.
You know, we all been on elevators. Get on the elevator and you gotta push your button first. They want to see what button you pushing first.
You guys remember when the ATM machines first came out? The ATM, like it was outside in a little. Yeah. I remember waiting outside. Normally, if there's like one white person inside and they see you standing outside, there's two ATMs in there. So he's using one or she's using one, and you see me coming. Just hit the button so I can come in, so I don't have to stick my card in there and do the whole thing. They would just stand there and watch you to make sure you have a card.
Right.
If I really was there to rob you, right? You're freaking in this little 2x4 glass thing, you know what I mean? And it's just me and you. It's just so stupid. It's like white people on the elevator that you get on and they go into a corner like this. You're like right there, you know what I mean? If I wanted to rob you, you cannot stop me. So this is not a deterrent. This is not, listen, white people, this is not a deterrent. You know what I mean? All this stuff that they do when they get close to black people, that is not a deterrent.
No,
I'll tell you a funny thing real quickly. I'm at Atlantic City performing at the Borgata Hotel, Atlantic City. And I'm walking in and I always wear suits when I travel to my gigs, you know, and I walk in and white guy actually hand me his keys to park his car. I'm not lying.
No, he was giving you a free car. That was yours now.
City, the biggest hotel in Atlantic City, casino. And I'm performing there for the week. And the guy handed me his keys to park his car. I had to tell him I was not the valet guy.
You can't let him find out the hard way. You should have drove his car somewhere and parked it with the windows down.
Well, you know, another funny one for me is when you see when you're either at the gym or you're in the store and they grab their kids. And I was like, I told a lady once at a high-end gym, I said, "Are you really grabbing your son because you think I'm gonna take him?" I said, "Girlfriend, I can't take care of mine, much less yours. I'm good."
That's the most irritating thing.
If you focus on reading body language, though, a lot of times they might not. Now, this is, I don't know if it's true, but it seems like they're not even aware that their body language is shying away. And
she knew. She knew. I had a good long talk with her. She knew. She was.
No, I'm just talking in general.
Oh, okay.
That's like the people in the supermarket when there's like this much space and they just still ram their cart through rather than saying, "Excuse me." You know, I've never punched anybody because they said, "Excuse me." But because it can happen still. But you know, I don't just haul off if you. "Oh, excuse me, could you move out the way?" "No, I'm not moving out of your way." And I think that's what they think is going to happen or something. But they'll try and wedge it. They'll scrape the car up against yours or hit you just so they don't have to say anything. Or is that just so much of white entitlement? They're like, "I shouldn't have to say anything to you. You should just get out of my way."
That's called the ghost effect. That's called the ghost effect, when they act like we don't exist. And that's the only way to alleviate that is to reach out and touch somebody.
Go ahead,
Steve. Like you, Kevin, I had the same thing happen to me with the keys, and I tossed them down the sidewalk. And he said, "Hey, what'd you do that for?" I'm like, "Why'd you give them to me?"
Have you ever
trying to get accused of stealing somebody's car? You handed me some keys that don't belong to me. I know you're trying to set me up for some shit. I threw that shit down the sidewalk.
Have you ever been in Staples or Target and worn a red shirt and people excuse me?
Wear the wrong color shirt.
Man, that happens to white people though.
Yeah. I do.
That's funny.
I do. I give them all bad directions of where to go to.
Yeah, me too.
Third out.
You tell me
you can't go past Foot Locker with
the
that
home
shirt
and
on.
garden section.
I'm ready to tie on the side. I'm gonna have Nikes right now.
I want to know where Steve got his shirt from, so I can get one and go into the Foot Locker and just walk into the back room because I go do my work there. Pick out some nice sneakers and then just
pick out some Nikes.
One thing about this, you notice how we're all laughing and making jokes. Carl, I think we all talked about this once, how no matter what happens, we know how to find the freaking humor. Most people be like, I can't believe they think I'm a robber. They think I'm horrible. But we were like, oh, it's okay. Girl, that wasn't a Chanel bag. Don't grab that. Don't grab it. It wasn't
Because
Chanel.
black people have been through so much shit, man. Like, we're not going to run into a post office in most cases and shoot up a post office because one of us lost our jobs.
Right.
You know, we've lost jobs.
Right. Or jump off
We've
a
been
building.
disappointed. We know what it's like to struggle. A lot of people, you know, when the stock market crashed, they go out and commit suicide and they kill their wife and their kids, you know.
Yeah.
I know so.
But most African Americans, even the ones that have money, struggle somewhere in their life before they got that money, you know, work hard for it. So, you know, we're not going to run into the post office and shoot it up just because we lost some money, man, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
We're not going to kill our wife and kids because we need to put them to work so they can make that money back.
Exactly.
Darn it.
But this whole fear of black, to me, sometimes it's just annoying because sometimes you're just going through your day, you're trying to get stuff done, you're in a business situation, you know what I mean? And there's still fear in a business situation. Like I talked about the guy that came to my house to do a refinance, you know, sign some papers, and my kids were making some noise in the bedroom, and he's like looking around like you know what I mean? Like, dude, you know what I mean? Really? You know what I mean? And one time I had a guy come to my house to do one of those bath fitter, how they put a new tub over your old tub.
Yeah.
So he's in the bathroom working. He's upstairs. It was a hot summer day. So my wife said he must be thirsty because it's hot. So he go upstairs and ask me if he wants some water or something to drink. So I went upstairs and I opened the bathroom door and he was working. And when he saw me, I swear to God, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm looking at him like, what the, like, what? You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it and he goes, dude, he's doing all this like in the corner. I mean, back into the corner. Like, I mean, he had to be up there thinking they're gonna kill. You know what I mean? He had to be up there thinking
You're not even a threatening dude. You're not even a big threatening dude.
I know. You know?
Yeah, no, he's threatening. He got
yeah. So that fear, and sometimes it's just freaking annoying. And I think white people need to get over that. I mean, we're on to you, and that I'm scared of you, black people. Oh, we're so scared. You know, we're so afraid. And Tanya said to me, we talked the other night. She said it's not fear; it's more guilt than fear. You know, what I mean?
Probably is guilt because if they think what we're gonna do is everything they did to us during slavery. And if they really knew what happened during slavery, you know, like there was a movie that said that there was a new birth of a nation. It was a Nat Turner story that they put out about. That's one of the more famous slave revolts where Nat Turner and a whole bunch of slaves, and they went from. So it's like they were sitting around and go, you know, there's only 3 of them in the house, and there's like 30 of us. And they revolted, and they started, you know, going from plantation to plantation, and the number got bigger and bigger. But what they don't tell you in U.S. history, because they don't want to, you know, let blacks realize that we weren't just subservient. There were more than over 250 slave revolts where they were sitting. I said, yeah, there's like 250 on the books that they have where they were sitting around and going, you know, when they go home at night, there's only 3 of them in that house and there's like 50 of us down here. We can take them.
Yeah, but I've also done some surveys with some of my white friends throughout the years, and I'm like, why you guys trip? You know, when a brother walks into the room, and a couple of them said, well, it's an instant recognition that you're the alpha wolf, and I was like, really? I'm like, explain. They're like, okay, when you walk into a room and you're the only black dude in the room, how many times have you had the person who thought they were the alpha wolf come up to you and try to somehow humiliate or dismantle you or whatever? How many times has that happened? I go, well, come to think of it, that's happened almost every time. It doesn't matter. If it's the richest guy who thinks he's the alpha wolf, first thing he's going to do is come over, throw in your face how much money he has. If it's an athlete, first thing he's going to come over and just kind of tell you how many accolades he has. If he's a pretty boy, he's going to talk about, you know, how many hot chicks he banged in the last week. And it's like, why do they do that? They do that because they feel that they were the alpha wolf in the room until you came in. And once you came in, it challenges their alpha because they can look around the room and they can see instantly it went from them to you. And that's one of the biggest reasons why they have issues, especially with black males.
You're
but not celebrity black males.
Even on a cellular level, when it comes to vibrations, because we have a high concentration of melanin, There's the one professor, Dr. Kaba Kamene, and he talks about even if you don't say anything, they can perceive the energy that you're able to draw and use. So that backs you up. It's the realization that someone with even potential power has entered the room.
Stephen's very lucky to have gotten that information. The guy was being extremely honest, and that's very helpful. Because, like I said before, we don't want anything you have. We just want our own.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think they think that black men. I don't walk around thinking I'm some kind of badass. I've been in situations where I'm the only black person. And there's like 4 or 5 of my white friends. I remember we had a club, and some kind of fight broke out with one of the other white dudes. And then the other 3 white dudes go, man, he's lucky he didn't mess with Carl, man. Because what do you think? You think I like to get an ass kicking? You know, you think I got some kind of special powers? You know? That black men have these superpowers? Because they did a survey just a couple years ago, and they surveyed white medical students, and in 2020, white people still believe that black people have a higher threshold for pain than white people. Right. It's just in 2020.
Insane.
You know, they don't believe we feel pain the way white people feel pain. That we have a higher threshold for pain.
Try being a black woman giving birth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd play big money. I would pay big money to see Carl in the octagon going hand in hand with anybody.
All right, let me read some comments up. We didn't get to a lot of comments today. We only have a few minutes to go. Gina said it's insecurity. I guess she was talking about how white men view black men. Anthony Wilder said toxic masculinity. And he also said it is guilt, which manifests as fear. But so what are they guilty about? They're guilty about the way they've treated us, or the way
they know what they did. They know.
Yeah. But that's why.
Is it guilt for the entire white race, or is it their personal guilt?
Both.
I honestly think it's probably their personal guilt, because that's why we get some people, like some of our white friends that we know, and some of you are watching now, who don't feel any of this stuff or come across as like, have to be like a Karen or have to be like a Proud Boy, because they're confident in what they do every day as they walk to make things better or to keep things, even, let's just say. But I still say we teach people how to treat us, right? So I'm with Tanisha on that. I don't even waste my time anymore trying to explain to people, justify, or I don't even have those discussions anymore. If I walk into a room and everybody stares at me, I will automatically think in my head, gee, I must look good today. I could be the worst looking thing, but I'm gonna be thinking in my head, they think I'm fabulous. Even if they're saying, look at her hair's busted, whatever it is, because that's just, it's going to alleviate the stress that can give you to be walking around thinking like, oh my God, they're going to grab their bag or their kid I don't care. I don't care anymore. And maybe that's because of my age. Maybe that's because of wisdom, because I've traveled around and I see that me caring is not going to change anything if they don't change.
I think a lot of that guilt too is from complacent, like they see a lot of things that they could actually say something about, but they don't, and they just let it happen. And over time, you become guilty from that. I mean, it's like if you're seeing 2 kids on the playground fighting each other and you don't stop it.
Right.
And then you read the paper and one of them like got killed, and you could have gone over there and be like, you guys need to stop that messing around,
But
to quote Dr. King,
all the comedians here are able to use their minds to actually make money, which is a great thing. But we got to realize that a lot of the white people's interaction with black people, they have seared it in their mind. Someone who is less articulate, someone who is
we have 2 minutes left, guys. We have 2 minutes left.
Someone not well learned will jump bad, curse them out, and call them every name in the book. And so now they also carry that fear with them.
Yeah. Kevin, you were saying?
I was just going to quote Dr. King.
Go ahead.
That said, he said, there comes a time when silence is betrayal.
Yes. Yes.
When white people, the ones who don't say nothing, but they pretend they're not racist, but they sit back and see things that's racist,
Robin,
or the cops on the police forces who aren't bad cops, but don't say nothing about the bad apples. You know, Dr. King said there's a time when silence is betrayal.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Robin talked about that. She talked about that. Being silent is worse than actually doing the act. You know?
Yeah.
That's my point. That's where a lot of that guilt comes from.
Where are you, Steve? Yeah, I know you're black.
He's really black. He's being real black right now.
He's a real black comic.
He's on witness protection.
Yeah, that's a good note.
You took the 5BlackComics a whole new level.
He's already camouflaging black and white.
You wasn't playing around.
Am I the blackest because I look blacker or because my attitude is blacker?
All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks to everyone for watching the show.
Yeah.
Once again, we gotta thank all our viewers. Gina, as usual, our super fan. Anthony Wilder, thank you so much. Who else is on here? Kathleen Marie Smith, thank you so much for watching. I'm not gonna get to everybody. Norma, grandma, can I call her grandma? Is she my grandma? She's my grandma. Norma Stanley, thank you so much. I would like to have her on the show so she can talk about what it was like for her in her day. I think that would be great.
Hey, my mom watched today for the first time, by the way.
Oh,
Hi, Mom.
What's up, moms?
My mom's in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, watching the show right now.
Oh,
all right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. You did a great job. You did a great job with Kevin. Excellent job.
You raised a legend. Thank you.
I want to. Hope I said your last name correctly. I didn't get to everybody. Glendine Carter, fellow Bajan, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone. And I'm just going to go around and get some final thoughts. Trump got 75 million votes, which means pretty much the country's all split down the middle. I mean, we might have a little more on our side, but 75 million is a lot of votes for somebody like Trump to get. And Tanya, I'm going to go to you. Where do we go from here?
Like I said before, and like I always say, we teach people how we want to be treated. With that being said, I don't focus on what how people are acting. I say it to us as people, as friends, but I really honestly don't care, because if I'm doing the right thing, and if I'm, doing what's right by me, by all people, eventually that outweighs the love, and the doing the right thing will outweigh all the Proud Boys and all the bad negative people. So I try to focus as much as I can. I try to bring out the Mother Teresa and let the other girl go somewhere else. So,
all right. Preach. Your final thoughts, brother?
I like the direction that the new administration is taking, that we have an African-American as Secretary of Defense. We have a Native American in charge of the EPA. You have different people who are actually skilled in the jobs you're putting them in, not just putting somebody someplace for the sake of putting them there. Yes. So it looks good. And the fact that they got Merrick Garland coming in as Attorney General, and we've heard that name before because that was the person that Barack Obama tried to put as a Supreme Court justice 8 months before he left office, and they were like, "Oh no, we can't do it during an election year," and they refused to do it. So here he comes again, and now he's going to have a different position of power. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, thanks. Pod brother out in LA, what's going on, my brother? So where do you think in like 2030 America would have a dark-skinned president and a dark-skinned vice president? Do you think that's possible? Dark-skinned.
Let's just be happy with what we got.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think so, because those echoing words of white supremacists, if we let one in, where will it end? Well, it's going to end in 2030, where the entire cabinet's going to be like dark as deep as chocolate. But one of the things that I want to leave with a note on is I am excited about this new administration and the cabinet. And I never before in my lifetime has ever had a need to reach out to every single cabinet member and introduce myself and congratulate them on their position. And I think I'm going to do that for this cabinet. I'm going to write a letter, and I'm going to say, congratulations, I'm Stephen E. Kimbrough, one of the 5BlackComics, and I want to congratulate you on your position, and try to develop a relationship with each and every one of those people, and trying to make a relationship with them. Then my agenda of U.S. Reconstruction 360, I want to plant some of my own seeds in their brains on how we can reconstruct America, both black and white. So that's my final thoughts.
Thanks. Kevin Lee, brother, what are your last thoughts?
Last thoughts. I had a back and forth on Facebook today. It was brief. I don't waste too much energy anymore. With a guy who swears the election was rigged. So my point is, the Trump clan, no pun intended, they're going to always believe that this election is rigged, and because they don't want to believe that millions of black people came out and kicked Trump's ass out of the White House, and that's what happened. So I'm excited about the future of this country. Joe Biden and his cabinet and Kamala Harris. I'm like a kid at a candy store right now. I'm just excited about the future, brother. I think it's going to be beautiful, man. So I'm excited.
All right, brother. Mr. Desi Walker. When I see your name, I would think of Luke Skywalker.
I wanted to name my son Luke Skywalker.
All right. Go ahead, brother. Final thought.
I want to thank everybody out there for watching. I really appreciate your support. I hope that we're bringing some different ideas to the table, and I hope that you feel welcomed enough to give us feedback and tell us what you think. I got checked this week specifically from my older sister. Her name is Greta. I was texting her about all the executive orders that Biden signed, and none of them were specifically for black people. And my sister put me right in line. She said, I wrote it down. He's still better than what we have. We have to make him not forget his promise. So I want to thank everybody. Let's keep talking, and everybody can listen and learn from everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, Desi. Once again, I want to thank everyone for watching the show. Remember, if you want to book any of us for any shows, you can send us a message on our Gmail, which is 5BlackComics@gmail.com. That's 5BlackComics on gmail.com. You can check us up on Facebook or Instagram, any of our social media posts. Thanks to Tanya Cooper. I keep forgetting this. Has On the Town with Tanya on Sundays and Thursdays.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock on Sunday, 8 o'clock on Thursday, On the Town with Tanya. I try to share her show when I can, when I remember, or when I see it on my Facebook page. But please check out Tanya. Preach. He doesn't preach. I don't know.
It's a noun, not a verb.
And Steve E. Kimbrough, a.k.a. Mr. Footlocker. Thank you so much, brother. Steve,
I just launched my podcast studio, so Pod Brother Nation just.
All right, so check out Pod Brother Nation, and when this show has millions of viewers and it's really kicking ass across the nation, our show will be streaming live on Steve Kimbrough's Pod Brother Nation, because we're gonna support the brother 100%. And Mr. Kevin Lee, international, national comedian, magician. Kevin Lee's book, Playing with Fire. Check it out. I got it. I'm halfway through it. It's very, very interesting book. I thought it was all going to be funny stuff. I'll be laughing, but there's some stuff in there. But all in all, it's a great book. It's a great read. I hope you all grab it. Grab it off of Amazon, Kindle, whatever you guys, whatever way you guys can get the book, please do. And Mr. Desi Skywalker, you should have named your son Luke Skywalker. So once again, thanks everyone. And my final thought for today is something I have been trying to do. I've been trying to not let America change me, which it has. I go back to my island, Barbados, and people tell me I'm not the same. I'm edgy, and America has changed me. I was a fun-loving, happy-go-lucky kind of person. I talk to people on the streets. I meet people for the first time and I interact with them. That was my personality. But after walking into a couple of rooms in America and looking white people dead in the eye and saying hello, and they just turned their head and fucking shut me down. You know what I mean? That just cut off that shit out. I was like, what the hell is this? I looked you right in the eye. There's just two white people. I look directly at you. I say hello, and they both turn their heads in unison. It's like they practiced at home. Okay, when the niggers come out, we just gonna all turn our head. Ready? Go 1, 2, 3. But I'm trying not to let them change me into what they are. So I'm working on that. So once again, thanks everyone for watching the show. We love you. Please keep watching. As I mentioned, if you guys saw the promo, if you can watch us on YouTube, we can do a lot more on YouTube. But if Facebook works for you, that's great. But if you can check us out on YouTube, we can do a lot more on YouTube and get a lot more views and a lot more things we can do with our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So thank you guys very much. Thanks again.
Hey, next week's show gonna be hot, so tune in. Don't miss next week's show.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are we talking about next week?
Talk about that later.
Hip hop.
Next week is hip hop and rap.
Yes.
Hip hop. And we gotta throw the N-word. Is that part of the N-word show?
No.
No.
Hip hop is not conducive. Does not necessarily mean N-word.
Okay.
No, the N-word.
Just talking about hip hop, history of hip hop.
Yeah, just hip hop.
And what it's done, positive and negative effects on the African American community and the world.
Yes. All right.
All right.
So check that show. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Peace and love.
Bye.
Bye. Good show, everybody.